Okay, I believe we're recording. All right. So, quick video on the second part of just some coaching stuff for you guys to play around with that we'll play around with in the meeting. We talked about the what. We're going to go into a bit of the how. Coaching is an ever-expanding thing. There's not exact science to it, but it's definitely an art to it. So when it comes to the how, let's just start with just tasking and pretty much what that is. Like, what does that mean? It's really important to understand here that, you want your clients to be successful in whatever exercise or programming that you have them do. That's really, really important. And, when people learn new tasks, it's really hard for people to task switch between very complex things at the same time. It's really challenging, actually. People can go from a state of unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. Basically, what that's saying is people have to learn things slowly to master a skill before it becomes automatic. And that is really what you want from your clients. The skill set becomes automatic. And there is a mountain of research that supports that, that, where am I going here? Whoop, I lost my slide note here. Boop, 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 boop. There it is. Got there. All right. That shows that people can only focus on one thing at a certain time. Matter of fact, there is research that shows that people have much faster recall time from a visual stimulus. So they recall movement patterns much quicker with a visual stimulus, and they also have much better reaction time with a visual stimulus. On top of that, during exercise, reaction time actually does drop. And all this does support that in order to have better recall of movement pattern and to execute a movement pattern better when it's coached is when there's an actual visual demonstration of the exercise, when there's only one thing to focus on at a time, and like the last video, when that focus is something external. Mastering that really helps you become a masterful coach, really. So to jump ahead here into the cueing, so you want people to be switched on and know what you're trying to show them and react to it. You want them to react to it effectively and efficiently, and you don't want people dual tasking, trying to learn two complex things at the same time, because the brain can't task switch very well between complex things. A typical client who's just doesn't have the coordination to do certain patterns, or maybe don't have the strength to achieve it yet. So what do? You enhance that with very powerful clear visual demonstrations, especially a visual demonstration where you tell them to look at a specific thing. For example, if they're going to do a split squat and you want them to emphasize range of motion, you might say, look, I want you to watch how I drop my back knee toward the floor. And that might be the one thing you have them focus on versus look at everything happen. There's low complexity when you're trying to coach. Using an external cue and focus is usually one of the best ways to do that. So split squatting again, you may say, just imagine you're stuck in a silo. Go north and south only. And you give them one focus. People tend to execute patterns and recall them better and have better cognition with one thing to focus on at a time. So that's a great skill to learn and do as a coach. Example, deadlifting. You may start off with a visual demonstration of how the spine is straight and one movement focus, which perhaps it is the hip action, and to have them watch my hips and see what they do. So you might give them a verbal cue of where the shoulder blades go with an external focus. Once they start moving, you might then throw out one external focus, just one. Drive your feet through the floor. So the brains think about the floor, not their feet, and they tend to execute with more effective movement patterns. Let them get into it, and then you might give them another external focus. Pull the kettlebell up to the ceiling. So these kinds of things focus their minds on one thing at a time, something outside of their body. They got a visual demonstration, and the complexity is low to see effective movement patterns. So this is part two of some of the how in terms of coaching. So what's the final framework so far? You focus on one complex external focus at a time. External focus should be one at a time, and use a visual cue to set that up. This part here we're going to get into in a later video. That's it.